So here we have this nice little sun that's just come up over the horizon. It's kind of dark. I'm going to get rid of this little moon out here. And we're just going to brush it away. Maybe it just doesn't really fit in our whole scheme of things after all. Maybe you thought it was gonna, but it's not gonna, so you take it out. And there are no mistakes. Remember that. There are no mistakes in painting. There are no mistakes in artwork of any kind. No. Just barely touching that sun. You're just barely going around it. You're just barely touching it. You know, you don't want to touch it too much. You want it in the final piece. So that looks really nice looking. I see it looks nice. Looks gorgeous here. Looks gorgeous there. We're ready to go. Okay, now we're going to add some of this blue. We put the rest of this purple on here. And actually, I'm going to thin this down a little bit with some paint thinner. This purple here. And we're going to give it more of a liquid purple, like base coat type thing. Be very careful. Don't overdo it with the paint thinner. Don't go, oh, look at that. I go all hog wild and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You just want to thin it out just enough. So, what we did here, we'll thin this right out. This purple, it doesn't like to stick. I noticed that it's the second time I've used this purple, this shade of purple, and it just doesn't like to stick. It doesn't like to work. I don't know why. All my other colors have worked beautifully, but for some reason this purple wants to be stubborn. Kind of reminds me of myself when I was young and dumb. You know how that goes. The saying, I'm not going to ever repeat it. Could, young, dumb, full of cum. You know, this is not for children anyway. I have a dark sense of humor that can come out at any time. I can become very twisted in the things I say. So, like the other day, I was listening on the TV, something I don't do a whole lot, really. TV. And actually do more than that. My fair share of it, but usually only certain programs. That's what I'm kind of getting at. So, but I had the TV on, and Biden dropping out in political race, thinking, yeah, why don't Trump drop out too? I'm not a fan of either candidate. I'm in the middle. I'm an independent. I'm not either. I think the American political system is in the shit. And that's all I got to say about that, as Forrest Gump would say. So we're going to get into this blue. We want some blue water, blue and purple water here. And we're just going to put this like where we think this ocean's going to start. Well, you're thinking, oh, is this really wet on wet oil painting? You sure don't look like it. It just keeps going and layering all these layers in there. Well, believe me, it is wet on wet oil painting. And yes, I do layer in there. And you layer in a lot when you do this type of oil painting. And you gotta have to have a little patience as you do it. Not like you have a white paint foundation base. You have nothing. Just the canvas, and the canvas will suck up that paint. So you gotta get it in there good and thick. Don't be afraid to put the paint on. And with a big canvas like this, you'll find the middles are sturdy, the outer edges are wobbly. So adjust your easel as you need to. And we're just going to keep working this down. We're just going to keep working it down. And we're just going to keep working it down. And we get back in this blue, into that purple, into that blue, into that purple. Just got more of that paint on there. So, don't forget your base coating while You're painting a picture at the same time. You're doing both. You're not putting the base coating on. Now, I'll remind you again, you can. I'm not saying you have to. I'm not saying you don't have to. I'm saying this is how I do it. This is how I like to do it. This is how I paint. I'm original. I'm not going to copy anybody. I'm going to do my thing. And I'm going to continue to do my thing. And I encourage you all to do your thing, whether it's writing music, if you're singing, write your own songs, make your own music, get that band going. You always think, I got one more day, 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 but, the reality is sometimes you don't have any more days. I'm going to take this little blemish out. Real nice over in here. And we're done in the background now for sure. I'm not going to go back in there. And that's another thing about this is you can go back in there a little bit, like say, okay, well we're not quite done, and maybe you want to add a little bit more white over here, and you can do that. If you were totally had white paint on you could not do that. Once you absolutely decide you're done back in there, like right now we're not because we have all this paint here. So once you decide you're absolutely done back in there, don't go back in there. Leave it alone. Whatever is in there is in there. I think we might go back here in the back here, and we're going to add a little bit of white. Fan brush here. And we're going to put a little bit of white, fluffy white little clouds in here. Early morning. We're out there having a party. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, I may drink a few beers while I'm doing this. If I start slurring, it's probably because I have drank a few beers. There's a little bit more blue on here. Not sure how far out the ocean's going to come. If I'm going to come across, cut it across like this. So the blue and the purple are good colors. They're dark, and you can easily use a lighter color on top of them and not have a mud mixer. We always want to watch about the mud mixers. So it takes a few times. You're not going to get it right the first time. You're not going to get it right the second time. You may get close. You may get it right the first time. It may look really good. And then again, you may sit back and say, I just don't like the way that looks. And experiment. And don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to change that lyric. Don't be afraid to change that one word in there. Maybe one word sounds better than the other. So, think about giving you guys a little treat here, playing a little harmonica quickly. That's another thing I like to do. When I become retired, I have rheumatoid arthritis. I've had it since I was 29, officially diagnosed 29. And I'm going to fade those out just a little bit. And so I take frequent breaks because my hands, they do hurt, they do ache. I have to think differently from other people. But then I have a different mind from other people too. And you all do. We're all unique. We're all individuals. We're all different people. We're all human beings though. We're all striving to do the best we can for humanity. That's what we should be doing. However, we're in this mode, everybody's in this mode, survival mode, and nobody's basic needs are met, and everybody's trying to survive, and we could live in such a better world if these things were met for everybody met their basic needs, and just their basic needs. And they didn't have to worry. Then there'd be more time to help your neighbor build that fence. There'd be more time, and we'd have a better society. We'd have better people in this society. We'd be ruled by people like the Bidens and the Trumps and Trumperts or whatever the fuck his name is. Anyway, let's move along out of that topic again. We're going to decide, okay, we're going to have to cut this skyline somewhere along here. And say that's where the sky and the sea begins. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking right where the sun is, right above the horizon. So right along here, we draw. And we're just going to cut this right off here. You want to put pressure. You don't want to cut your cans. You want to put a nice straight, keep it straight as you can. Just keep it as straight as you can. Get a little thick, that's okay. You can fix that. I'm going to try to keep it just as straight as you can. If you waver a little, that's okay. Because actually, the skyline isn't quite straight when you look at it out there. Kind of moves and wobs here and there. It's not exactly straight. That's because we're not flat. We're kind of egg-shaped, actually. Not really round. Bulges in the middle along the equator. Well, I have the flat earthers really uptight. Yeah, I found that funny. Found that very funny. Sorry, we didn't. I'm not trying to offend anybody. People believe different things, and that's the great thing about living in the 21st century, living in America, and we can believe different things, and we should encourage everybody to believe different things. I don't believe in putting my opinion on anybody. You don't have to believe what I believe, and we don't have to be enemies just because we have different opinions. So, our skyline's in there, our sand line, or water line, the hard earth line where it breaks. So, we're going to take this knife here, and I'm going to get into this blue, and I'm going to get into this purple, and make kind of a darker shade here. Actually, I'm going to get a darker shade of blue, and so I have this darker blue here, and midnight blue, and that's what I always call it. It's actually got a name, but I call it midnight blue. The darkest blue you can get. Sometimes I'll mix black with it, try to make it even darker. I like to make different shapes with this kind of blue, and purple, and other colors, you know. See how dark I can get it to see if I can fool my audience to think they think it's black. I love doing that. So now you have to make a decision here as to, like, I'm going to make a decision here as to where I'm going with this. So this is definitely the start of our water. So I'm going to actually put this darker blue right down along here. That's kind of where I want it in the painting. I changed my mind here. I was going to do something else, but since I've already got it out there, we're going to have to put our land up in here maybe. So we're going to spread this out. Darker blue. And just going to spread it right out along here. When you buy these chip brushes, you know, they're cheap, but they do work really well. But there's other times they're just a pain. They don't work as well as other brushes. They spend more money, but you know, painting is expensive. Supplies are expensive, and I would appreciate some likes and comments, and all your likes and all your comments help me to put more content. More content equals more views equals more likes, etc., and then we get the ball rolling and we support each other. Now, if you have a channel out there and you're doing art, and you've come across my channel and you want me to support you, then you subscribe to me, drop me a message and on a comment and let me know you did it. I'll check your videos out and I will like and subscribe to you also. Kind of how this is going to work. Work together, we can all achieve our goals. We can all achieve our goals. So, okay, now we're gonna take out This filbert brush here. I don't know the size, don't ask. Other people say, oh, you should know all that stuff. Why should I know all that stuff? I'm not here to teach you how to paint. If you want to learn how to paint, you go learn how to paint. Check out Bob Ross, check out other painters, check out his son, check out anything you want. There's all kinds of wet and wet painters out there that will teach you how to paint. I'm not here to teach you how to paint. I'm here to show you how I do wet and wet oil painting. And, try to be a little comical every now and then. And provide a little bit of comic relief to people. Maybe they're having a bad day. So I'm just going to take this silver brush here, and we're just going to start right along in here in the middle on the water here. And this is where the sun is actually hitting the water. And you can use a fan brush to do this. It doesn't matter. Make your little waves. And just kind of splashing out along in here. And just kind of come along like so. Dip in there and little white along here. Now the rule to this painting is that a thinner paint will stick to a thicker paint. So when you need to thin your paint, thin your paint. Just thin a little bit of paint thinner. There's water out here. Maybe it's pretty calm. You really want to accent. You really want to start in the middle. Because the sun is there. And this is where the light is, where it's going to be your brightest. Get me a little filter brush here. The water don't always move the same. Everyone's under this impression the water all moves the same way, and that's not actually accurate. It looks that way, but it moves in other ways. There's undertows and undercurrents. Pulls it this way, pulls it that way. But we only see things to a certain point. That's part of being human. It's part of the eyes only catching so much. That's why the hand is always quicker than the eye. That's why magicians get away with what they get away with, or illusionists get away with what they get away with. So they can move quicker. The hand can move quicker than the eye can catch it. Same with the ocean. The water moves quicker than the eye can catch it. Oh, you're going to come along and do this one thing. Just kind of folds out like. Just a little bit. Over here. Now, we're going to get into our white here with our fan brush. And we're going to start using our fan brush right down along here. We're going to brush that ocean just moving along. What about that little blue in there? That ain't going to matter. The water's just moving along. Back into the white. Now here, if you want to, you can use liquid white. It looks gorgeous. It turned out beautiful. So just remember that. You can use liquid white along here. I kind of view the water kind of like clouds a lot of times. Water just moves. Make sure you leave space between your rows so it looks a little bit more like moving water, you know. This one gets a little choppier out here. And this one just kind of coming along. This little. Okay. So now what we want to do here is we're going to clean this off. And we're going to accent this middle part here with just a little bit of these yellow hints. Right along in there. And then I'm going to put a couple birds out in here. And I don't always do birds, but I've done it tonight again. I like to put them in there once in a while. So we're just going to take some of this yellow, dip it in there, dip our fan brush right in that yellow, cad yellow. You could use yellow ochre too if you wanted to. And we're just going to very lightly touch and accent this sunlight right along the tops of these waves. Just a little bit more. Right along the tops of these waves. Right where the sun is at. Right along the top. Nice and light. Light. Nice and light in there. Yeah, I like that. Just that nice light touch of yellow in there. It's not overdone. It's looking good. I really like that. Don't judge your work either. No matter what you do, don't judge your work. A lot of people judge your work. You never get nothing done when you judge your work. Just paint, step back, look at it every now and then, make sure you got what you like as you're doing it. Don't judge your work at the end. Don't be like, oh, I really don't like that. I can do this, I can do that. You find you never get anything done if you keep doing that. I'm going to go to my little fan brush here now. This little fan brush and I, we've been through a lot. We're really good friends. I'm going to put a bit of a waterfall scene in here in the back, but like I say, I don't want to do that tonight. I'm just going to... We're going to do it over in here. As we get closer into the inland. And we get a pool of calm water down here in the bottom or something. I mean, you know. But I ain't really figured all that out. So you just keep kind of bending it. I keep kind of bending it. Kind of bending it around. Maybe it's coming inland, see? We're going to put a little rocks in here and stuff. So we're going to need another color, which I'm going to add, which is raw umber, which is nice brown. Put some rocks along here and stuff. It will all come together. A lot of people, when they first start painting, the first thing they always think about and they worry about is this going to come together? Is this going to come together? And the answer is yes, absolutely it's going to come together. It's always going to come. It always comes together. So we're going to take this really dark blue here, and we're going to put some birds in here real quick. You don't want them real thick. You want them real thin. You don't want them. You want them looking like they're out over here. There's one. There's the other one. There's another one. You want to make like a V. Like a V. Like a V. And we'll make like a V. Three of them. So what we're doing here is we got this land out here. Let's put this in here. We haven't really done much over in here, so we can get away with this. It's all hidden shadow anyway. These birds are, this is where they're headed to. They're going out over, headed out that way. So we're just going to put a little bit of light touch on the tops of the wings. Now remember, we just kind of made a V, so we just kind of make a V. So Now you can see them a little bit better. You may not be able to see it on here. They're there. And then we're going to dip back right into this dark blue. Just to see a little bit more. Maybe 1 or 2 more layers. It comes up like so. There's so much detail you get away with when you do it this way. So many things you can do that you couldn't do if you had white paint on your mouth. Over in this area of this land back in here, you don't have too much. You just, you want to be careful what you're doing, because in the end, you want what you've got done to look natural, and of course, you want people to, well, most artists and painters want people to admire their work, and they want to be known, and they love to do it. I love to do it. I didn't know I could even paint. I didn't know I wanted to paint. I knew absolutely nothing about painting. So a few years ago when my mother died, and I was in my 40s, I'm now in my 50s, or now just 50, shouldn't say 50s, because I'm just 50, and I just didn't know I wanted to do it, didn't know I could do it. I was looking for something to do. The rheumatoid gets to you after a while, and you kind of wonder how you get point A to point B some days. And I need something to do, so here we go. Now we're going to get back into this white. We're going to continue making these ripples right along here. Here's Oshie's. Kind of like drawing, almost, but not really. It's different, but it's kind of the same. And you want to, maybe this water just kind of chops up more. Like that. I keep looking because I want to see what you're seeing. I'm seeing it one way here, I see it another way when I look in the camera. So we're going to pause here for a brief moment, and we'll be back.